Hello, and welcome to Unconventional Minds here at FIT. I'm your student host, Priya Yoba, and we are joined by our guest speaker, FIT alum, and co-founder of Wearworks, Keith Kirkland.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you today, Keith?
Fantastic.
Great. Okay, so Wearworks, you are the co-founder of this Haptic technology company. Can you just give us a little bit of information about the company, how you got started?
Yeah, and so at Wearworks, we build products and experiences that communicate information through touch. And our first product, Wayband, is a wrist-wearable haptic navigation device for the blind and visually impaired. We basically figured out a way to guide people to an end destination using only vibration. And back in 2017, we used that technology to help a person who was blind run the first 15 miles of the New York City Marathon without sighted assistance.
Wow. So for those who may not be unaware, could you give us a little bit of information on what haptics technology actually is?
Yeah, and so haptic means we're relating to the sense of touch. Like optics is for eyes, haptics is for skin, and basically what we're trying to do is use the skin as a communications channel to find a way to offload some of the information that we're constantly getting bombarded with visually or through audio.
Okay. So I did mention that you are an FIT alum.
Yes.
Could you give us some anecdotes on how your experience in accessories design may have helped you and how you applied it to building the Wayband and Wearworks company?
Yeah, and so Wearworks is essentially a wearable technology company, and accessories, by definition, need to be wearable. And so a lot of that craftsmanship and fit and in training come directly from my presence at FIT. But also there was a really big part of emotional understanding and learning that I got injected into me becoming a designer here. Everything is so emotional, inspiration, mood boards, how does this collection feel? And so it kind of forced me to emotionally grow as a person to become a better designer. And I think that was personally what was the most important for me.
I think that's a great answer. So moving on. And as you mentioned, Wearworks is not just for the visually impaired, it's also for the visually, I guess you could say, inclined in a sense.
Yes. And so when we first started talking to people who were blind and visually impaired, they told us, don't build a blind device. Build a device that everybody can use that's optimized for the blind experience. And so what we've done is we've created an inclusive experience that doesn't matter how much sight you have, whether you're fully sighted or fully blind, to be able to utilize it.
Thank you for joining us today. I also have one final question for you.
Of course.
So the show is called Unconventional Minds at FIT. So what would you say is the most unconventional part of your life, or how would you apply the word unconventional to your life today? Yeah,
and so I think for me, the biggest thing of being unconventional is that you don't necessarily have to create brand new innovative concepts from scratch. It's a lot of pressure, and the biggest thing is there's often innovations that are being used in one area that simply being applied to a totally different area creates opportunities. And so I kind of want to democratize innovation a little bit and kind of unconventional thinking by looking at we all have access and expertise to particular areas that if we just broaden the perspective of what that thing could be applied to, there's tons of innovation that can be done.
Well, thank you for that answer, and thank you for joining us today. I am your student host, Priya Yoba, and we are joined by Keith Kirkland, co-founder of Wearworks. Have a great, beautiful, unconventional FIT day. Thank you.
Ciao.